Welcome back, my friends in conflict. Do you feel like your organizations provide you with enough resources to develop conflict mitigation skills? Well, this video might help. It could be something that you could share to make the case for some additional resources to help with some conflict mitigation training. To help make the case for some conflict mitigation training, you might share this statistic from LinkedIn. LinkedIn recently measured workforce confidence among U.S. employees at its lowest level, citing economic uncertainty and the related stress. The emotional weight that accompanies this stress often contributes to more conflict. In another recent LinkedIn publication, they listed the top skills for 2025 that are in demand within the workplace. LinkedIn identified conflict mitigation as the top soft skill that is in demand. In fact, the only skill in higher demand was learning how to use artificial intelligence. Now, most people are actually conflict avoidant. They prefer to ignore conflict and its associated discomfort, at least their perception of discomfort, in hopes that it will go away. When that strategy of avoidance does not work, and it rarely does, most people ultimately leave their organizations. Let's take a look at a common scenario. In this image, you see Mark portrayed as a high-performing team member with his manager Jasmine. They seem to be constantly at odds. Miscommunication, unmet expectations, and unresolved tensions between these two start to affect their entire team. But neither of them has been trained in conflict resolution. So there's a cycle of assumptions and escalating actions that continues until someone finally quits or is fired. So you have to ask yourself, what is the cost of this unresolved conflict? If Mark leaves the organization, then he might take his institutional knowledge and skill sets with him. If Jasmine leaves the organization, then it could leave a real hole in terms of leadership, and it could stall several projects. Either way, if one of these employees leaves the organization, it could cost up to 200% of their annual salary to replace them. And that cost does not even include the impact on morale and productivity and client relationships. In fact, a conservative estimation of the full cost of conflict shows that a small organization with just 20 employees loses up to $200,000 a year, and a larger organization has even greater costs, as you can see here. This is exactly why LinkedIn lists conflict mitigation as one of the top needed leadership skills. In times of economic uncertainty, it is understandable why many organizations might be tempted to delay training or to put off the implementation of new tools. When budgets are tight, professional development may feel like a luxury. But the longer the conflict is not managed efficiently, the greater the cost of that conflict becomes to the organization. Unresolved conflict drives up turnover, it lowers productivity, and it can even impact client relationships and reputations in the marketplace. It can take a lot of time and resources to try to claw back from that type of impact. Developing conflict mitigation skills is not just a people investment. It is actually a risk management strategy. It protects your talent, it stabilizes your culture, and it positions your organization to thrive under pressure. The ROI for developing this skill set is substantial. Start incorporating conflict mitigation into your regular meeting agendas and into your check-ins regularly with employees. Start to make this part of your culture, and I promise you will see dividends. Like and subscribe for more conflict tips and good practices.